Hello and welcome to Dove Tech Talks. I'm your host, Eddie Horton. Today we're going to talk about used cars and how to buy them. We're going to look at the pitfalls, we're going to look at the do's and the don'ts. We're going to look at everything you need to know about buying your next used car. So the first vehicle we've got today that we're going to talk about is a 2000 Jeep Wrangler. This is a second gen Jeep. The first ones were made in 1941 by Kaiser Willie Jeep. Now, these first ones were made for the war. So they weren't real glamorous. They didn't have all the bells and whistles that you get on your Jeep now. But what they did have is the ability to go anywhere and do anything. That's where the Jeep got its name. It got its name from the cartoon character Eugene. And Eugene only said one thing, Jeep. The other thing that people think might have been the reason that it was called Jeep was because in the military the guys called it a general purpose, GP. So GP, 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 they ended up with the word Jeep. So that's two reasons that is kind of a story behind where it got its nickname Jeep. So the one we're going to be talking about is a second generation Jeep, and they have YJs and all these other Js and all these things that it really doesn't make any sense. You got a 2000 Jeep, you got a second gen Jeep Wrangler. Now, there are some pitfalls of these Jeeps. One is they're very expensive. These things are not cheap. You're talking a 2000 Jeep that may be in the St. Louis area at this time right now, 2019, you could pay upwards of $14,500 for a 2000 Jeep, depending on its grade, depending on what condition it's in, and what engine's in it. There's many variables that go in to buying these used cars, and we're going to talk about all of them. So another thing is, on the other side of that, if you're a handy guy or you're a handy gal and you work on cars and you got the tools to do it, you can pick one up for $4,500. But I guarantee you, that one's going to need some work. And you better be good with your tools.
I want my cool wave brakes.
On your 2000 Jeep second gen, this Jeep is a wonderful vehicle. Now here's the problem that we have with these Jeeps. This is what we see coming into the shop. These things aren't things I just made up or that I got offline. These are actually things that happen right here in the metro, all right? First, people put way too big a tire on these Jeeps. I know you want them to look cool. I know you want them all jacked up in the air so you can go trail ride and all that stuff. Here's the thing. You can do that. But if you're going to put those huge tires on it and you're going to put some lower gears in it and you're going to do all this hill climbing, get you two Jeeps. You need two. You know why? You need a purpose-built Jeep. You don't want to go out there in your everyday daily driver bouncing off trees because, trust me, you're not that good of a driver. I've seen you. All right? So get the tires you want. Get the wheels you want. Make it yours. That's the great thing about a Jeep. You can make it yours, and that's one of the pros about a Jeep. There are tons and tons and tons of different vendors out there to make your Jeep yours. You don't have to have wheels like anybody else. You don't have to have mirrors like anybody else. Your lights can be different. We got LEDs. We got traditional lights. We got lights of all kinds. Man, we got light bars that go on the top, that go on the hood, that go down low. We got LED light squares, rounds, circles, ovals, daylighters. We got them all. And they can all be installed at home by you. This is stuff that's pretty easy. You get into a pinch with the wiring, you can always come up here at Horton's Auto and Outdoor and get that stuff taken care of by one of our sponsors. Now, another thing you want to do is stay away from huge snorkels. People with these snorkels on there. We don't got water that deep in this area, okay? You don't need that big old snorkel. Because you know why? You got to cut a hole in your hood for it to be effective. You want to cut a hole in a $40,000 Jeep? Whew, not me. I don't even like doing it, and I'm a professional. You cut a hole in that Jeep, and guess what happens? The next guy that buys your Jeep says, I don't want that big old ugly black snorkel on there. So guess what? Get you a second Jeep. I'm say it again. Get you a second Jeep. Have a purpose-built trail rig. That's always the way to go. And then have your other Jeep, your daily driver, if you got to have a Jeep to drive every day. Don't try to drive your trail rig on the road with me with all that mud and nastiness falling off this thing all over my vehicle. I don't want it. I don't want big old hunks of tree limbs and rocks and dirt and sand and mud all over my car when you're in front of me. And plus, Trail rigs are meant to be just that, trail rigs. So the do's and don'ts: don't drive your trail rig on the road. Get a second Jeep and have a real nice one, because I'm going to tell you something. Your wife don't want to sit in that nasty mess next to you. She wants to sit in something nice with the air conditioning and a heater that works. All right? So now, some of the things we're going to talk about also is some of the problems that Jeeps have that you can't do anything about. One of the things they have a problem with is oil leaks on the valve cover. The 4.0 liter straight six has an inherent problem with oil leaks on the valve cover. Nothing you can do about it. You're going to deal with it. Here's the great news. It's not that bad of a job. It's pretty inexpensive. You take it in the shop. They get a good cork gasket and put it on there and tighten this down. And if they tighten it down in a sequence from the factory with torque specs, you won't have a problem for a very long time. Now, some of the other problems we run into is injectors, transmission transfer cases that are kind of leaking a little bit. That's because people bounce them off everything. If you take the skid plate off to change your fluids in these things, put them back on. You don't want to leave those off. Remember I told you ain't that good of a driver? That's what I'm talking about. You're only bouncing off stuff, tearing up your Jeep. Now, when you get your first Jeep, and this happens, everybody's got to have a lift kit. Got to have the biggest one. Here's the bad thing about using big lift kits. On a Jeep, if you put a lift kit on a Jeep, you have to stay under 4 inches. Okay? If you go over 4 inches on your lift kit on your Jeep, now you're getting into some high dollar parts. You got to change transfer case drops. You got to do brake lines. You've got to do a fan shroud drop. You've got to do body mods. There's all kinds of stuff. And there's linkage issues. There's all kinds of things you're going to run into. So one of the things that we do run into, pretty common with the lifted Jeeps with the bigger tires, there is one tire, and I know you're not going to like this, the BF Goodwrench T8 radial tire is a very squared off tire. Beautiful tire, looks great on a Jeep. It don't drive so good. Can't use that tire on a Jeep. It has some of the worst death wobble. Now, if you don't know what a death wobble is when the two front wheels going down the road looking pretty good, and you hit a crack in the road. This causes these wheels to oscillate like this, back and forth. And they go so fast that you can't even grab the wheel. The only thing you can do to stop it from happening is slow the vehicle down, pull over the side of the road, and then start over. If this is happening to your Jeep, A, you need new tires, B, you got the wrong tires, or C, you got the air pressure too tight. Now, it says on there that they're about 36 PSI on the tires. On the Jeep. That's where you're going to put your tire pressure. That's on a factory 16, 17 inch radial tire. When you put these great big mud tires on there, now the vehicle seems lighter to the road, the vehicle seems lighter to the tire. So it bounces a lot worse. And so what you have to do is drive down the road, and if it does it, let 3 pounds of air pressure out of the tire. And see till you hit that sweet spot where it don't happen very much. As soon as you hit that sweet spot, record that tire pressure and write it down so you always remember where to put it at. Front and rear tires need to be at the same air pressure. You don't want to have them different, because then you'll really have a driving issue. And another thing you can do to eliminate this problem is tow it in a 1/16 of an inch extra. So when you take it in to get your tow set, have them set it in an extra 1/16 of an inch. This will eliminate this problem of death wobble. And if you've never experienced death wobble, it is something you don't want to experience. Okay? So now let's get back to buying these things. When you're buying a Jeep, when you're buying a car of any kind, I don't care what you're buying. I don't care if you're buying a little red wagon down the street. You got to make sure it hasn't been an accident. Carfax is a wonderful thing. Here's the bad downside of Carfax. Carfax is only useful if it was turned in to the insurance company. Yeah, a lot of guys out there like me that fix their own stuff. I crash my car, I'm not telling the insurance company. I take it to the body shop that my friend owns. We squirt some new paint on it. We buff that baby out. Bada boom, bada bing, baby, it's new. And nobody knows any different. Now, if that happens, then you need to come to a place like Horton's Auto and Outdoor where we can tell you if that car's been repainted. We have a free service here. Come on in with your used car that you want to purchase, and I'll let you know if this thing's ever been repainted. All right, before we go any further, I just want to let you guys know that would not be possible. This show would not be going on if it wasn't for our sponsors. Our sponsor tonight is AP Cigar and Mike Weller. This is a cigar of the week. Is a CAO MX2 Double Maduro wrap. I mean, this baby is smooth. It's smoother than a baby's butt. And we're going to leave it at that. Now listen, if you're not getting the cigars from Mike Weller at AP Cigar, you're getting them at the wrong place. Another sponsor we have is Horton's Cool Wave Brakes. That's me. See the sign? See the brakes? You need them. Everybody needs them. All right? Now, this guy down here, Mr. Taillight, out of Edison, Ohio. This guy can hook you up with all kinds of body panels, replacement panels, headlight kits, taillight kits. He's got it all. Give him a call. Look him up on the internet, MrTaillight.com. He's a great guy. Steve will hook you up every time. All right. I know earlier in this segment we talked about the 18s are going to stop being made. And it's true. 18s are the last year for the Jeep Wrangler as you know it now. But guess what happened? 19 rolls around. We got an all-new Jeep. The 2019 Jeep Wrangler, the windshield's laid back a little more now. It gives you better gas mileage, I'm sure, because it's not so much wind resistance. And the bumper's all new. Stylish look to them. It's great. So guess what that means for you Jeep lovers out there? It means that the 18s are going to be on the lot now as used, because these people are all going to want the 19s. The 19s are out there. They look great. Nothing against them, but that is awesome for you people that want an 18. Now you can go out and get a used 18 for all the people that are trading in their 18s on the all-new 19. And if you have any questions, comments, remember, this is just stuff that we see happening in our area. And this is a very small area. You people might be watching this in California. I don't know. So if you've got things that happen to your 2000 Jeep Wrangler in California that we don't see, put it in the comments. You might help somebody else. That's what we're here for. We're here to help everybody. And if you've got something that I said wrong, if you've got something that I didn't say, if you've got something that you just want to add, put it in the comments below. We don't care. We're not perfect. We don't do it right every time. But we try to do it as right as we can every time we're on here with you. So, from Dub Tech Talks, Eddie Horton, your host. Hey, great first show.